the new iconography. It's playing the ZOAP anyway, you might as well get it. But all the features available within ZOAP are contained here. I can't do anything outside of the scope of ZOAP in here. I can't go outside the directory and mess with my system files and things like that. In fact, even most of the ZOAP Python, it's built on Python, if you're familiar with that programming language, scripting language, beyond technical. Even to change the hard code behind this, you do have to restart the service and things like that. So, you know, you can live your life within these shells. Whether it is ZOAP you want to administer, or we have a Snap server, which we use to store backup data for extended periods of time and allow people to install software off of and whatnot, because it's a big hard drive basically sitting on a network. Again, I don't have to go to my Snap server to be able to configure things on it. I can set up users and groups and through a web interface. And I prefer that. I prefer doing that as opposed to going to something that forces me to do a shell access. We have a little piece of technology here called CD4, so it's a CD server. I have to telnet to this machine to control it. There's no way I'm going to have security on anything I do here. If I showed you the IP address, it'd be very easy for you to just go in and change all the settings on all our CD-ROMs. I don't know how much damage you could do, but you can certainly reconfigure it and annoy the jeeps out of me. But you're welcome to start trying to force scan anytime you'd like. I'm sure our network security guys will be more than happy to return the favor. I am not the network security guy. I'm just the guy who talks about it at meetings because no one else will. And he's the only guy who really does it on campus. It's really quiet. But anyway, as I said, telnet, not a good idea. And you know, there's no reason to put yourself to the pain of sending your IDs and passwords over via plain text. It's not worth it. But some things have to be administered that way, and you've got to work with whatever you've got. Some things, like I said, the web-based stuff, I much prefer. But anyway, I'm not wanting to go deep into what these different things do, because you don't have a Snap server, or if you did, you already know how to use this. And you're not using Telnet, of course not, to run anything that you run on. You may, however, occasionally pop up one of these little windows because you want to manage some Windows 2000 resources. Again, I don't have to give someone shell access. I don't have to let them log on to the machine to let them do stuff here. And maybe I have somebody who, all I want them to do, a student worker who I just want them to go look at the logs. Have a human being look at the logs. Not a big deal. To allow him to log into the machine directly, I'm asking for trouble. There's no reason to do that. And if there is a problem with the machine, he's on a short list of people who I have to go and harass and find out what he was doing and when he was doing it and what he might have done and that sort of thing. And even the best intentioned people will install stuff that they shouldn't do. I actually had an administrator. We unfortunately have a 2-domain model, Pepperdine, that trusts, and the Central University likes to have administrative access to certain features on our systems. I happen to have one of my servers in their rack, and they were just doing a little switch box between the machines and the rack, and they happened to hit my machine and accidentally logged into my machine when they thought they were on another one. I guess someone else had changed the cable. And they proceeded to install SQL 6.5 or something. They weren't even paying any attention. But because they had console access, they were able to do that. So I like to try to restrict anything I possibly can so they only have access to the specific thing when it comes to administration. As delineated as possible, always a good thing. That's more a security discussion than a tools discussion. Currently, I'm remotely administering athens.pepperdine.edu as our SQL server. Yes, the password is not blank. But apart from that, unfortunately, it isn't the most secure box on the planet. I tried to lock a lot of things down, and I found out that I didn't know what I was locking down in some cases with a SQL Server, and I had to do a lot of fiddling through documentation to find out, oh wait, you can't lock down this and that. You have to have the workstation service still up. I have a whole list of things I'd like to do to lock down my machine. Every port I possibly can, every service I don't need, but sometimes it's so hunt and pack. So I just gave up in certain circumstances, like the SQL Server, unfortunately. But I don't have to go to the SQL Server to administrate it. I can use the remote administration software that comes specifically with the application to start. And manage multiple machines and new things that don't require, again, shell access. I guess if there's anything I'm trying to get across here is the advertisement for my class was about, getting remote access to machines, and I want to encourage you to not do that unless you absolutely have to. And if you absolutely have to, I like Windows Terminal Server. You get it for free in Windows 2000, Windows XP. It has a nice advantage that multiple people can work on the machine at the same time, multiple administrators. If someone logged in and working, you're not going to interfere with whatever it is they're doing. Sometimes my boss likes to log into things and just leave himself logged in. That's a real problem with some remote administration products because the system is locked up for that one user. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know who it is that's logged in. I might be booting off a hacker. I might be booting off my boss. And booting off my boss is a good way to get one way to merit than the rest. So not knowing is a problem. So use Terminal Server. Get multiple instances of desktops. I can log in fact, if I really feel the need for some reason, multiple times to the same machine. And each one brings up a different virtual terminal. If you have a machine in a public place, I don't know why you do that because physical access is the most important security. But if you do, and you don't want people to see what you're doing when you're working on a machine, this is one way to solve that problem. I suppose I care because the administrators for the Central University, again, they have a couple of my machines in their racks, and I don't really want them sitting there watching me administer my own machine. So I guess it just makes me feel like no one's looking over my shoulder. But it is clean. I tend to not like things like PC Anywhere that cost a lot of money. They're full of exploits. If you've ever tried to use PC Anywhere with its features over a modem, 14-port baud modem, you probably share my frustration with things like that. Get DSL at home.
And then it gets added.
Yeah, get cable modem. Put these on the list. Yes. If one of the people who, I'm looking at the camera right now, if one of the people in this room is employed by you and you want them to do stuff from home, give them DSL. That was the reason you all came here, right? All right. So anyway, there's lots of other tools available to do a more complex task than even just what the shell will allow you to do. I don't know if you're familiar with Alteris. It's a really cool piece of software that has holes in it so large you can drive a truck through. But it's so cool that it's worth it for labs and things that you a professor's machine who's running a law office out of his office, who has confidential data that he's required under his various ethical oaths and whatnot to keep confidential, is probably not the best place to stick a piece of client software that anyone can take over their machine if they know what port it runs on. That's probably not a good idea. Alteris is developed with a lot of money from Compaq, though it's not owned by them. I hope that HP will continue to develop their relationship with Alteris. If you have Compaq servers, you have free licenses to Alteris. You can actually go into Alteris, www.alteris.com, and run your Compaq servers with a free license from them. All the rest of your machines, you have to buy more licenses for it, but that's the kind of relationship they have with Compaq. It's a convenient it's a convenient tool. It's not just for remote control. In fact, I can do a lot more with it than that. I can set up events like install Office XP. I don't know how many are you familiar with Microsoft's new installer files, the MSI files. You can, with this piece of software, you can create your own MSI. In short, you install a machine, very vanilla, just with the service packs and whatnot, because you all put service packs on and you all go to windowsupdate.microsoft.com. You do all that. You get a good, solid, plain machine. Then you take an image of that machine, a catalog of all the software on it and all the registry settings, and then you install some piece of software you'd like to have.
My interest in the electronic computer stays light and low for carrying documents.
Then you take a difference of the new computer to the old
electronic book readers and dealing with full-size documents and books. Now, how this is converted over my interest
which was very similar, a real pain in the rear to use, not near as reliable.
From an open speaker.
But the packaging software within Altera basically does the same thing. Copies to all the changes, the registry, the file system,
but they just haven't
package them in a file, either a proprietary format if you're okay with that, or an MSI file. And I can send it out to any machines I like. I can do that from here.
If you wanted to deal with ebooks today, someone came to me and said, I wanted to deal with ebooks today, what would you get? I would use it in PDA and not necessarily in a dedicated electronic book reader device, two of which I'll discuss at the end of this program.
Software if I think
the reason being, currently, that's the device where the stars are lined up the most and that you can use. This first point that there's a critical mass of users. There are 6 or 8 million people in the country with Palm devices. So there's this huge market of people out there that have the device. So
very configurable.
There's publishers that make
books
available for this format, and it's one of the most widely available formats for a truly portable device. There are readers like the Microsoft Reader or the Adobe Reader that you can also use on your PC.
I want the custom, and I want everything installed
on what's the device you can pick up and take with you, wherever you go and not being tied to your desktop. And right now, that's really the Palm machine.
So there are more tools available to you than Shell.
Palm device is capable of handling very large documents. On my Sony,
like I said, there are problems with all these tools.
There's different things. CALI, I don't quite know how it's pronounced. I've heard it both ways. It runs the Palm OS. It's basically a Palm Pilot, and it's made by Sony. This is the memory stick for it. It's about half a stick of gum, about size. I bought the Webster's the full collegiate, 160,000 word, the big collegiate dictionary. It's on that stick, every word.
When I go to install the client software, which is necessary,
look up any word, pull it up in my palm and show you every definition. So that's the kind of capability you can carry around with you. Actually, the dictionary is great. I'm going to discuss some of what type of documents to use.
There are a lot of security settings that are
dictionary
available.
is perfect because you're not reading. You don't read a dictionary.
The client properties. I can say that someone who has this client
but usually look
software
at a definition. Well,
on their
definition
machine can
fills one
disallow
screen.
me from shutting
So it's
down.
the perfect use of the device. I want to look something up. I was at the
programs on
reference
their
desk last week. Somebody mentioned an island in the South Pacific. Someone was hiding money in a little trust down there or something. They want to know where the island was. Pull in the dictionary, because I got a collegiate dictionary in my pocket all the time.
Server the client software is supposed to listen to. Unfortunately, by default,
and so the capability of handling this is a 15 meg memory. The dictionary takes up 10 megs.
I love multicasters.
It's a 10 meg file.
For deploying my labs.
You can get these sticks up to 128 meg.
But if I have all the clients listening to
the size of the actual stick.
Altera will give you a 30-day evaluation license.
So with a 128 meg stick, you carry the equivalent of
so any student could download the console software.
Dictionaries and books. So if you're talking about students with carry case books, the technology is there to be able to do that type of thing. Now there's lining the stars up. You have publishers putting the material,
popped on the network.
Copyright issues. There's all little stars that have to come in.
There's no essentially no difference.
Technically do
and the client won't know any difference either. It won't know who's controlling it.
And then also another advantage is PDA.
This is a
extremely
real
portable
problem.
device. You can literally
It's not a
put it
big
in
deal
your
if some,
pocket,
I really don't care if someone gets
taking these
control of my own
documents
personal
with you.
workstation. I don't keep passwords.
Okay,
there.
disadvantages. Here's where the stars aren't lined up, which I want
But
to mention. One,
if the head of
reading
HR's
experience.
machine is
If you're reading a
compromised,
novel, it's just not the
that's a
best.
completely different
You know,
problem.
you're reading off
We can't have them publishing what
the
everyone
equivalent of
in
a
the
deck of
entire
cards,
university
the
knows.
size of a deck of cards.
The global
And then
address
one thing I'll discuss today is some of the electronic book readers, which I have, and we'll show on the dock reader my Rocket ebook.
Anything
The
you can
screen
do
of my Rocket
to
ebook
lock
is
things
larger
down,
than an
encrypting
entire Palm
sessions.
device. So,
This is
but with the
Alteris,
Palm
but that's
Instead, it's got
generally
this weak reading experience, small screen.
one of the other pieces of software
Lack of standards
I
in
wanted to show you.
that there's numerous publishers out there putting
Something
things in
called-
different publications. But if if your school wants to say, hey, we want to put this document out there, there's no truly central. You definitely want to just put it in this format. I mean, there is the doc format.
Included in this presentation for open source plays.
Oh, sure.
There's my servers. Does
that work? Thank you for letting me know, sir. Okay.
Type B and C is very nice.
And also with the lack of standards, although doc is somewhat of a
600K.
universal standard, what there
Remote
isn't out
administration
there
for free.
is if you have
600K.
truly
That's
content you
pretty
want
good.
created, most people